Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deion. Playoff time is here, and the quest for the gold ball starts right here, right now. On this episode, we'll meet Putnam City North wide receiver Jeff Nwankwo. Then we'll check in on last Friday's Ford Game of the Week, and I'll share my takeaways from last Friday's action. But right now, let's meet Jeff Nwankwo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special guest for you today. Okay, it's a pleasure to talk to this dude, one of the guys that I've been watching this upcoming season, and he's been doing some really special things out there on the football field where he's not used to being. So right now, let's get to talk to my man, Jeff Nwankwo. Jeff, how's it going?
It's good. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. So you decided to turn yourself into a football player. Tell us briefly, how did that come about?
So over the summer, I was actually talking to my high school coach, Coach Laverty. He was telling me how 6'6" in basketball is like normal. Like there's a lot of 6'6" hoopers. But in football, that's like rare. Like you're going to be recruited way better. So I was like, my senior year, why not give it a try?
And a try you gave it, and a try that has turned out to be very, very successful for you. Now, let's be honest. Me and you kind of have similar backgrounds. You're Nigerian, I'm Nigerian. I know how our parents can be sometimes. So when you first went to talk to your parents about, hey, I want to play football, what was the conversation like?
So at first, my mom was like, no, it's not happening. Like, I don't want you getting hit like that. But then I had to talk to her, convince her that I could really get my school paid for doing this. And she was like, all right, I'll let you try it. And then look where we are now. So
it's funny that you say that, because I had the same conversation with my mom back when I was like in the second or first grade. And I was like, Mom, I mean, if you think down the line, if I do this and I get good at it, no, free college. And, education is everything with them. So they're like, go ahead and play. So I'm sure it was the same with your mom. And speaking of family, I found out that you're not the only sibling in that household. Are you a twin? Correct me if I'm wrong. So tell me a little about your brother.
I have a twin. His name is Josh. He actually came out to football for 2 days, but he just decided that he was strictly a hooper. He didn't want to get hit.
So how was that conversation in the house? Like, do you give him a tough time about it? About not being?
Yeah, I call him soft all the time. Stuff like that.
So as far as your friends and some of the basketball players that you play with over there at Putnam City North, how have they treated you, or how have they supported you when you decided to go play basketball?
A lot of them actually, like Keon, he's on the football team. He actually started off playing basketball first, and last year he went to the field. And so I really looked towards him. He really inspired me to actually go try it myself. So like they're very opening to the idea. They like it.
Well, it's always good to have support from your friends and your teammates. So now I know that it wasn't just, the word of mouth, that the support that you needed. I mean, playing this game of football can be very difficult for anybody, not alone a person who's just starting out. So have you played the game of football before, or are you just coming back to it, or you just never played and this is your first time like putting on pads and a helmet?
If you count like Pee Wee football in 6th grade, then yeah, I have played football a little bit. But I played running back and quarterback, so it's nothing that I play now.
So what was the main difference of putting the pads back on as far as your senior year of high school?
Now it's like a lot more serious. Like people are really trying to make a living with this in high school, so it's definitely a lot more serious. So it took some getting used to, like the faster pace and stuff like that. But I mean, I adjusted.
What was the most difficult part?
Definitely getting hit. Like I didn't like getting hit at first, coming from being a hooper. So it took some getting used to. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So let's go back till fall camp, getting ready to play, getting adjusted to, the heat, the pads, just being able to just, get accustomed to football. What was the thing that kind of like, whoa, this game is for real. This is serious. I can't mess around. Was it like getting hit, or was it the heat, or what was the toughest part?
I mean, there's times where we're practicing like 100-degree weather, and I'm like, yes, it's for real. Like, You have to be all in if you really want to do this.
Hey man, sometimes it's not just about being physically tough. You got to be mentally tough to play this game as well. But let's talk about basketball a little bit. I know that's let me not put words in your mouth. It's probably your first love and something that you're not shy about. So how did you start playing the game of basketball initially?
I've been playing basketball for as long as I can remember. I think I started playing when I was 3 years old at the YMCA, and ever since then I just always been playing. Like I've always been one of the relatively taller people in my class, so it just happened. I just always played basketball.
And now who are the teams that you're playing for currently, as far as AAU ball and school ball and all kinds of things around basketball?
For high school I play for PC North, and AAU I play for Oklahoma Impact this year. Freshman year I play for Team Griffin, and sophomore year I play for PWP.
So with that being said, I mean, I'm pretty sure because of the pandemic and everything that went down, there were some opportunities that you had to miss out on for basketball, or were you going to put those aside to focus on football this summer?
Well, actually with Corona, I think it made it easier for me to decide because basketball tournaments were canceled, so I didn't really have to decide. I just went to work out with football because that was still going.
So with your brother still playing basketball, is there a situation where you felt, is that why he wanted to play football as well, because of the opportunities being missed because of the coronavirus?
I think that might be why he tried it, but yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's an opportunity to go out there and try your hand at a different sport. I guess coronavirus has given opportunities as far as taking some away as well. Hey, who says a guy on the hardwood can't turn into a gridiron star? Jeff Nwankwo thinks otherwise. We'll talk to him about that in a couple minutes. Tonight, the Ford Game of the Week, we kick off our playoff coverage in Broken Arrow. The Putnam City Pirates will be in Memorial Stadium to play the Tigers. The path to the gold ball starts this week. Join Mike Ziegenhorn and Rod Thompson at 7 o'clock on YurView Channel 3 for Putnam City and Broken Arrow. Ford High School Weekly will continue after this. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking to Putnam City North wide receiver, Jeff Nwankwo. So let's talk about the whole reason that you started playing ball. I mean, the coach said, hey, you could make yourself into a serious prospect and get recruited and have your education paid for. Has that happened for you? And if so, who are the people that are talking to you currently?
Yeah, it definitely has happened to me. Like starting after like the second game in Piedmont, I had like 2 touchdowns, and then a lot of coaches started talking to me. Currently, I have offers from Tulsa, Tulane, Cornell, Army, West Point, and Eastern Michigan. So yeah, I definitely got some opportunities.
Okay, so you just named some top-notch schools over there. I mean, TU, Tulane, and what's up with this Cornell? That Cornell doesn't come out and offer everybody. So you got to have the grades to go there as well. So is education pretty important to you?
Yeah, coming from like what you said, like our parents being Nigerian, grades it's a must. It's a mandatory. Like that comes before sports.
So is there any school that you're seriously leaning towards, or you're seriously thinking about? Give me do you have like a top 3 or 2 or?
A top. I don't really have like a top 3 or anything right now, but I'm definitely leaning towards Tulsa right now because I mean it's down the street and it's a great school, academics, good football team.
So I mean, I'm just saying, if you want to make any special announcements, this Ford High School Weekly would not shy away from, if you want to make your commitment here and let it, I know you've been talking to my boy J Dash, who does video and editing. I mean, he's down the street from me. We could hook you up. We could do it right here live if you want to make an announcement.
All right, bet. I'll let you know.
So we're not gonna get it now, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk. We'll talk. But speaking of football season, I know, I mean, although it's your first year playing, I've witnessed some of your Putnam City North games, and y'all were pretty impressive. How has the season been so far?
The season has been good. Like our team were really selfless. Like we don't care who gets the credit. We just want to win. So we only lost 2 games so far, and we're looking to make a deep playoff run.
So what do you think has set your team apart from the other teams in the area as far as, skill wise? What do you guys do well offensively that sets you guys apart?
We have taller receivers. We have good running backs. Like everybody just wants to win. Like that's all our mindset. Like we don't care who scores. We just want to win.
Hey, winning's the name of the game, my man. Winning's the name of the game. So with playoffs coming up, how do you think things are going to intensify?
We're definitely like a lot more serious now. Like this week in practice, the atmosphere has been a lot different. Like we're not playing around. We're all business right now.
Hey man, when you're going for that gold ball, it's time to get serious,
Yes, sir.
and I'm pretty sure your coaches are telling you that as we speak. So with 2020 being the way that it is and the pandemic and everything going on, how has it been? What are some of the challenges that you and some of your teammates have faced throughout the years?
With the pandemic, we've had to play like every game like our last because a lot of us are seniors. So if our season gets canceled, we're just done. So we definitely had to take football less for granted and just go out there and do everything we can every night, leave it all on the field.
Although it is your first year playing football, I imagine that some of the things are different as far as scheduling and practice compared to some previous years. What can you tell us some of the differences that you've seen or that some of your teammates have shared with you?
Oh yeah, this year we didn't have 2-a-days because of Corona, and like in practice you have to get scanned every time you come in there. But I think the practice schedule is like relatively the same, like timing wise.
So now that you're, after playoffs and hopefully y'all's opportunity at the gold ball, it's time to start your second year of football, so to speak, with getting ready to go to college. What are some of the challenges that you think you'll face? I mean, getting to the next level.
I definitely like being a hooper my whole life. I haven't really been in a weight training program, so I definitely need to get a lot bigger. You know, I can get better in every aspect of the game, really, because I'm still a raw talent right now. So,
So as far as hitting those weights, is that something you're looking forward to, or something that it's just something that you have to do?
I mean, it's really both. Like, I like hitting the weight room, but even if I didn't, it's something I have to do anyway. So,
So with that being said, playoffs, college, school, or what's a day in the life like with you, for Jeff, especially in 2020? Like how does your day normally go?
I wake up, do some schoolwork. That's like in the morning. Then I go to practice. Then after football practice, I'll go watch basketball practice because, I still am a hooper after all. Then I'll come home, do some more schoolwork, go to sleep, and then it's really the same thing every day.
Same thing. Speaking of, watching hoopers and watching the game, I mean, as far as football goes, is that something that you've always watched on TV, or is it just something that you just started to pick up to a liking to this year?
Oh, I've always watched football. Like I've always liked football.
So who's your team?
Steelers.
Oh, why the Steelers?
Well, when I played Pee Wee football, I was actually on a team called the Steelers, and that was the first football team I ever knew. So ever since then, I've just been a fan.
Okay. Can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that. So if you're a big football fan, let me ask you this: are there some players that you look at that now that you're playing that you kind of try to emulate and put what they do into your game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I watch like the taller receivers like Julio Jones and some Calvin Johnson highlights from back in the day, and I try to mimic what they do because being a taller receiver is not the same as like being short. Like your routes are like different. So
Yeah, I can't lie. That is that is true. It's getting in and out of breaks
yeah.
are a lot more difficult. So those guys like Julio make it look smooth. So now going into You mentioned that you want to improve on, getting bigger and stronger and faster, and that's definitely something that needs to be done, especially going to the next level. But as far as skilled position wise, and just the inner workings of the game and playing wide receiver, is there any skills that you think you need to develop a little bit more for you to be successful at the next level?
At the next level, I definitely have to get my route running like more precise because it's all about timing. And right now, I think I'm relying heavily on athletic ability. But at the next level, for me to be successful, I have to get like more precise and more efficient. So yeah, I definitely need to work on that.
Well, my man, you're on the right path, and the game of football is lucky that we found you and that we were able to get you before you went over to that basketball court a little too much. But hey, man, tell everybody over there at Putnam City North that I said good luck during the playoffs, and you know what, YurView and Cox will be watching y'all, so make sure y'all do us proud.
I appreciate it.
I've always said the game of football can take you to a lot of places you never imagined you'd go. Looks like Jeff Nwankwo is going to some of those places here pretty soon. Tonight, the Ford Game of the Week features the Putnam City Pirates taking on the Broken Arrow Tigers in the first round of the OSSAA State Championship playoffs. Join Mike Ziegenhorn and Rod Thompson right here on YurView Channel 3 at 7 o'clock for Putnam City and Broken Arrow. We have more Ford High School Weekly coming up next. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. Last Friday, Steve Marshall and I covered the Jinx Westmore contest on the Ford Game of the Week. Let's see how both of those teams fared.
Quite a ball game tonight that saw a lot of scoring in the early going and a lot of scoring often by the Jenks Trojans. They put on quite a show tonight.
Yeah, they certainly did, and they did it with their stars and their playmakers. We said early in the game, both these teams were going to need to find their playmakers and give them the ball so they can get a victory. Did that more than Westmore did, and because of it, they got the victory. I mean, Jayden Patrick and Grant Lohr were two of the guys, and Kittleman as well playing the quarterback position. They got things started early and often, and because of that, they had a pretty impressive victory here.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights, and it started very early in this contest. Very first possession of the game, Jaguars had the football, but Jenks took it away.
Yeah, and here's what I'm talking about. Jayden Patrick, first time touching the ball, pick six, takes it the other way, waving up the number 1, going in for his first score. And then here's the second, just a nice skinny post, no safety over the top. He needed some help in coverage, and he didn't get it, and Patrick made him pay. But watch him make him pay right here, making some cuts, getting away, and running away from everybody as he gets into the end zone. And here's another reception that was just impressive. On third down, they needed some big yardage, and who did they go to? Number 5. And Kittleman doing a good job of being a precision passer, finding open guys down the field like Patrick. And, take a look at this, being magical in the pocket, eluding pressure, and just putting the ball on the money all night. He started the game 9 for 9 in the first half. He had a couple of incompletions there in the second, but it pretty much perfect, as you can say. I mean, eluding pressure once again and finding teammates in the open and giving them an opportunity to make plays in the open field. He was impressive, and hopefully he's even more impressive during the playoffs for these Jinx Trojans.
Oklahoma high school football was in the national spotlight when ESPN televised Booker T. Washington and Bixby's game last Thursday. Bixby won handily by a score of 70-21. Booker T. Washington's quarterback, Lathan Boone, had 3 touchdown passes in the first half, connecting with Jordan Drew, Demetrius Prudhomme, and Jalen Teague. Bixby's quarterback, Mason Williams, also threw for 3 touchdown passes. One to Jacob Snyder, the other to Luke Haas, and Brennan Presley got in the action. And yes, Mr. Presley made an impression. 5 touchdowns, 200 yards rushing, 150 yards receiving, including a 92-yard touchdown reception. The Spartans are still rolling heading into the playoffs. Ford High School Weekly will continue with my Week 10 takeaways from the Westmore Jinx games. Start thinking about the number 3. Welcome back to the Ford High School Weekly. Tonight on the Ford Game of the Week, catch Putnam City and Broken Arrow in the first round of the playoffs at Broken Arrow's Memorial Stadium. Join Mike Zickenhorn and Rod Thompson as the Pirates and the Tigers take their first step towards the gold ball right here on YurView Channel 3 at 7 o'clock. In hockey, when a player gets 3 goals, hats are thrown onto the ice in honor of his hat trick. Thursday night, Jinx had 2 hat tricks when 2 Trojans scored 3 touchdowns. Jayden Patrick got it going with a pick 6 on the first possession of the game.
It's intercepted. That's going to be a walk-em-in pick 6.
And guess who it is? Number 5, Jayden Patrick.
On the next Jinx offensive possession, he scored a 29-yard touchdown pass.
Steps up, wide receiver wide open. There's that man again.
There's that man indeed. Number 5, Jayden Patrick, another touchdown.
In the second quarter, Stephen Kittleman avoided some pressure and found Jayden Patrick, who turned that pass into a 65-yard touchdown for a first-half hat trick.
Steps up and throws. Left side complete. First down yardage. Breaks free of the tackle. Into the wide open space. Inside the 10. He's going to get into the end zone. A touchdown for the Trojans. And it's Mr. Patrick once again. Lower will get into the end zone.
Grant Lohr got his own hat trick with touchdown runs of 1, 2, and 50 yards.
Lohr takes the handoff untouched into the secondary. Cuts it back towards the middle. Still loose, and he's going to get into the end zone for the touchdown.
So what should we call a hat trick in a football game? It's obvious. A helmet trick. You heard it here first. Check YurView.com/OK every day for highlights like these and replays of the Ford Game of the Week. And next week, go there to find out what our next playoff game will be. We should know what game it'll be by Monday at YurView.com/OK. And remember, guys, only the best in Oklahoma make it to the Ford High School Weekly. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, Deion Amade.